Alrighty, everybody. It is currently Tuesday. I swear to God. I swear to God. I've I've been spending. It is Tuesday, April 15th. In case you were wondering, the year is 2025. But I've just spent like the past, I don't know how fucking long, like, because my headset was fucking up my microphone. Where I had like a wireless headset, and for some reason it was fucking with the microphone. There was like a weird beeping sound in the background. It was like beep 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 beep, beep like that in the background, like a fucking like a sonar ship was looking for us, like a submarine was hunting us down. And so I was like, fuck it, I can't use those. And so I plugged in this other fucking set of headphones to try and use that, just because I'm like autistic, and if I hear myself talk, I'm gonna be like, no, that's not good. No, no, no. And so that fucking thing took over and started recording it, and I think it is right now. I think that's what's happening right now. I'm not 100% sure. I just did like 4 test recordings in a row. The last one sounded good, and I think I'm using the right microphone on this one, but I have no idea. I have no idea how it's going to turn out. And now that I'm thinking about it, honestly, now that I'm thinking about it, like the last 10 episodes I recorded might have been used or might have been recorded using my headsets. That is very funny, but it is Tuesday, and Donald Trump is still the president of the United States of America. And that either made your day a little bit better, you're like, oh, Donald Trump's there. Yeah, that's good. Or it made your day a little bit worse. It's a 50-50 shot. But I guess in the case of this podcast, it's a 0% shot because no one's listening to it. No one's listening to this. And if someone somehow did stumble across this, if some poor unfortunate soul who was trolling the depths of the podcast networks to listen to a retard talk about the news, then, even he turned this off by now, because this is probably an awful recording. The pair of headphones I have plugged in right now, very taped up. We got like 3 pieces of tape on this thing. This thing looks like a soccer ball in Zimbabwe, Like, have you ever seen like those Mr. Beast videos where he's like, I gave these kids a new soccer ball, and he shows the old soccer ball, and it's just like, it's 90% tape, it's 0% soccer ball, but that's what these headphones are looking like right now. So, but no one's listening to it anyway. So that's the upside. That's the upside of having a podcast like this, is that no one ever listens to it. So I can just rant and rave. I can say whatever I want. I've gotten so close to saying the N-word just for the hell of it. But something in me knows that's going to be the episode that like blows up. And by blows up, I mean gets 100 views, and one person on Twitter goes, oh my God, did you hear that? That guy said the N-word. It's like, yeah, he said it. What do you want me to do about it? I hop in the comment section there, start defending myself. That is the moot. Like, everyone trashes like Kevin Durant. Like, Kevin Durant has like a ton of like burner accounts on Twitter and shit, where whenever anyone talks shit about him, he like hops in their comments, is like, I'll fucking rape you, bitch. Like, I'll fucking kill you. I'll turn you into Voldemort. I'll rip your nose off and then wear your fucking face as a mask. Like, that's what Kevin Durant's doing under like people talking shit about him, but like under an account of like a 50-year-old white guy. It's like Randy from Oklahoma defending Kevin Durant. And people like shit on him for that, but I would do the exact. I can't take an ounce of criticism. Like, when people talk about that, especially with like politicians, or like really politicians are the big one. They're always like, he can't admit when he's wrong. He can't take criticism. We all know who I'm talking about here. Like, people say that shit, and no, he can't. No one can. You don't get to that level without having like a complete shield around people criticizing you, because to be a politician is to be criticized, right? Like, that's kind of like one of the key points in the job description. You don't need to know about fucking policy or public relations or geopolitical relations or fucking anything like that. You just need to be able to like walk through life, and whenever anyone yells at you, whenever anyone's like fucking, go down the street dressed in a trash bag, and when someone goes, why are you wearing a trash bag? You go, I'm not, you're wearing trash. That's what it takes to be a politician. There's no other way. Like, George Washington, our first president, was a fucking psychopath with lead teeth and 100 slaves. Like, that guy wasn't taking criticism from anyone. He was built. He really wasn't taking criticism from the slaves. But he was also like a crazed warlord. Like, our first president was a slave-owning, lead-toothed, crazed warlord. That's what it is to be a politician. That's what you need. And I was watching this video about Mao Zedong last night. It was like this I don't know if she's a lesbian, but she fucking... I respect her. She's either lesbian or like a trans because there's no way that this is a straight like woman without a penis. Like it's just not true. Like I respect her too much. I listen to her too much. She's too fucking smart, to just be like a normal straight white chick. She is. And her name is Sarah Payne, and this is like a really good lecture she gave about like Mao Zedong and how Maoism like was it was like the popular communist like doctrine around the world and shit, especially post World War II. And she was just talking about this and like Mao Zedong, that dude took no criticism for anyone from anyone. He had like 10 fucking jobs in like 2 years. He eventually became a school teacher, and that's the ultimate like not taking criticism from anyone. And then she was talking about it, and she gives him a fair shake. She's like, fucking look, shout out Mao Zedong because that dude dominated. She gave him his flowers, but she was like, he was an elementary school teacher, and that really helped him interact with the peasants of China. She was like, yeah, the only reason he was able to take over the country is because everyone in it was so fucking like stupid. They couldn't read, and so when Mao Zedong came in and he was like, we need to farm more and kill our enemies, everyone was like, fuck yeah, let's go. Like that's how Mao Zedong took over. It's a really good video, but like, and also the other reason Mao Zedong took over, and this is way fucking funnier. It's so funny. Like this guy took over this country and built it into like the powerhouse it is today. He did it. Like it's just a fact. Whether you like communism, whether you like Mao, he did end up killing like 40 million people in like a designed famine. But like other than that, he did take over this country, turned it into like a dominant global power. But the way he did that is so Japan invaded China a little bit before World War II. I think like in the mid 1920s they invaded China. And so the capitalists and the communists in China united to go and fight the Chinese. And then the guy who led the capitalists, who would eventually go on to form Taiwan, his name was Chiang Kai-shek. And he was like he was like fighting with the communists for a little bit. And then he sniffed the air and he's like, oh, these guys are going to fucking betray me 100%. And that's exactly what they did. Like I don't remember I think he like took all his forces out of like the fight between Japan and like China, and he's like, I know you guys while we're fighting the Japanese are gonna betray us, and that sounds like the most schizophrenic thing ever. Because the Japanese, what they were doing in China, specifically Manchuria, like if you ever heard the rape of Nanking, this is what that is. They were like putting dudes in ovens and shit. They decimated China. China had the second most losses in World War II, right behind the Soviet. Like 40 million people died in China during World War II just fighting the Japanese. But anyway, like Mao completely abandoned the capitalists. I think they were called the nationalist forces to fight the Japanese. It was just like because he knew he did. It was a complete bitch move. It's like the bitchiest, cuntiest thing ever, but he did it and it worked. So basically what he did is he was like, we're not fighting with you guys anymore. We're not fighting the Japanese with you guys anymore. And he like went to like the countryside of China, or he like pulled back from the front lines between China and Japan and just like left the nationalists, the capitalists to fight Japan and just like waited there. And I can imagine like the expression on his face was like, I'll fucking kill us all. Like I'll do it. I'll make this country completely collapse. I'll fucking let the Japanese do whatever. Like it was such like a bitchy thing that he did, and it completely worked because the Japanese like decimated the nationalist capitalist forces in China, and then then Mao Zedong came in and he probably didn't even run that good of a game plan. I did watch the whole video. It's a solid game plan. He basically just got a bunch of retarded people and gave them guns, and like slowly his whole plan was to like first you convert the peasants, like the working people, specifically like the low class peasants, like the people who don't even own the land they're working on. You convert those people into communists, and then you convert them into guerrillas, and if a guerrilla is just like a kind of a detached, loose fighting force, right? Like a splinter cell. You convert them into guerrilla forces for communism, and then you convert them into like regular soldiers. That was his game plan. It worked. He fucking dominated. And then the funniest thing about the famine, and she was talking about this, he thinks he's like a military or like a political genius that he was able to like reunify China at this point, because at this point China had been like broken up for like 30 years. It was just like a conglomeration of warlords. Like that's what China was at this point. But he like thought he was like some crazy military genius, and it was like, no, he was just like the only dude left after the country got completely decimated. He was just like the only dude who could form a thought left in the country. And he took over China, and they had like this crazy famine. I think it was like it was either the late 40s, early 50s, or the late 50s, early 60s. But they had like this insane fucking like I think 40 million people died in this famine. I've said 40 million like 2 times, just a complete guess, but I think 40 million was the number of people that died in this famine. And like during the famine, he was like selling like any grain they did produce, any like rice or corn or wheat. But let's be honest, it's China, so it was probably rice. He was just taking all of that and just selling it to other countries, while like 40 million people like starved to death in the countryside of his fucking country that he was ruling over. It's so fucking funny. That guy was an awful leader, and but he turned China into what it is today. But I think that is kind of a solid game plan because he's rooting out the weak. You know what I mean? He's getting them out of there. It was like a 5-year fucking famine. Like 8 million people died a year during this famine, at least. But he did turn China into what it is today. You know, he was like, China will become a country, make a mini plastic toys for a dollar store in America. America will have a Dollar General, Dollar Tree, Family Dollar, and we will sell toys there. That is the future of the country. You do not understand. My peasants will become a manufacturers. But, I mean, he was a beast. He did figure it out. But, once again, he didn't figure it out. The country was in complete ruin. And he was just like, yeah, I rule. Communism rules. What I think rules. I'm always right. And, because I'm always right, you guys should, like, join me. And then you'll be right, too. Like, that's what he did. And it's a solid game plan. And that's, worked out for the best. And that's what you need to do if you want to become, like, a politician or, like, even like a middle management guy at your company. You need to be like, I'm always right, right? Like this goes back to the always being right about everything, right? Like not being able to take criticism. Or just like, because some people have a response to criticism where they're just like, no, I'm fucking right, you're wrong, right? It's not that. It's like a shield against like that's what you need. You can't even let it touch you, like get into your brain, infect your brain, because that's what it'll do. It'll affect your brain and make you second guess decisions, and then you'll never invade Iraq. You'll never start dropping bombs on Baghdad if you fucking can take the criticism, or like even understand that you're being criticized. Maybe that's it. Maybe you just need to understand, like, or have a lack of understanding about what criticism is. Just being like, they fucking hate me. They're delusional and they hate me. I think that's what being a woman is. I think that's why, like, AOC and, like, all these, like, Nancy Pelosi and all this shit. Like, Nancy Pelosi's been in Congress for 1,000 fucking years. And I don't think it's because of her policy or because people like her or even because she's rigging elections. I think she's just a woman. And so every time anyone's like, yo, Nancy Pelosi, what are you doing? She's just like, you're being sexist right now. You're engaging in patriarchal activities against me, and I don't like it. I don't like it one bit, okay? So why don't you get at it? Like, that's what she's doing. Same with, like, AOC, even Sarah Palin. And see, that's the thing about Hillary Clinton, because Hillary Clinton, that's a man right there. Like, I don't care what anyone says. Everyone says Michelle Obama's a man, but at least Michelle Obama shut her fucking mouth, right? Like, at least Michelle Obama shut the fuck up. Hillary Clinton never shut the fuck up. And that could be a sign of her being a man, but, like, whether she has a penis or not, in her spirit, there's a man there. And so that's why she didn't win against Trump. She couldn't be, bitchy enough. She didn't have, like, that cattiness in her that Trump definitely had. Like, people call Trump, like, a sexist or whatever, like, he's part of the patriarchy and he's trying to end women's rights. That man has, like, the spirit of a waspy woman that takes 100 milligrams of Xanax a day and it doesn't affect her at all. Like, that's the spirit Trump has inside of him, right? Like, the spirit of a woman who just does Botox every single fucking day, dude. Like, she doesn't even work anymore. She's just depending completely on her husband and just does Botox every day. Not even because she enjoys it. Just for the fucking love of the game. That's the spirit Trump has inside of him. So he's not like, he might be sexist or whatever, but he has the spirit of a woman. And also, if a woman did ever get in power, do you think they'd be, like, less evil, or, like, do more for women or whatever? Like, I don't get how people think that. They're like, if only we had a woman in office. And it's like, no one hates women more than other women. It would probably be worse. They'd be like, I'm just, like, so perfect. I don't even, like, get a period. So we're going to take the tampons out of the bathroom. You should be on fucking birth control anyway. So we're taking tampons out of the girls' bathroom. we're keeping them in the boys' bathroom because that's, we need that. Okay, that would be fucking transphobic if we didn't. Like, that's what would happen if, like, a female became, like, president or got all this power in America. But I don't know about politics and all that shit like that. I'm just talking about, like, the human spirit that drives it, And that's one thing I do understand than everyone else is the motivations that humans make. I figured it out. Freud thought he figured it out. No, I did. I'm the next Freud, and I don't even want to fuck my mom either. So you should probably listen to me over Freud, because I've never really wanted to fuck my mom. So I think if you're gonna choose, you don't gotta choose, but if you're gonna choose, I think I'm the right decision there. But I mean, Freud, that guy wanted to fuck his mom. So, like, every theory he had came back like wanting to fuck your mom. It's insane. It's the most insane thing I've ever heard. But to be fair, if you like woke up one day and you were just like, I want to fuck my mom. Like, if you just woke up one day with that thought, like, yeah, what does my mom's pussy feel like? Like, does my mom give like good head, dude? Like, if you woke up one day like that, you'd also spend your entire life trying to rationalize why you feel that way, right? Like, you would spend your entire life, like, poring over psychology textbooks and coming up with all these theories, being like, okay, I want to fuck my mom, but, like, okay, that's not normal, but it also is normal, and it's kind of, like, we'd all do the same thing. We'd all spend our lives trying to be like, I want to fuck my mom, but, like, I don't want to fuck I want to suck her penis. You like that? That's what you do. That's what we'd all do. So I don't blame Freud for all that, Like, if you woke up one day just completely out of the random wanting to fuck your mom, you'd probably spend your entire life trying to rationalize it, right? Like, that's the only way out of it. Because if you just, like, let that thought fester, you're probably going to kill yourself. So you might as well devote yourself to something else. But also, another reason why Freud thought all that shit is when Freud was, like, an undergraduate student, maybe, or maybe at this point he was a graduate student, and this is, like, in the fucking 1800s, right? So science is less than religion at this point in, like, terms of, logic, right? Like, religion, I get that it's predicated on, like, faith or whatever and believing something that isn't there. So, like, I understand that, people are good. Like, when people try to justify religion with logic, I'm like, no, you don't understand the point of religion. We'll try to be like, in God, like, the Big Bang is related to God in this way, and it's like, no, God's not related to any of that, right? Like, the whole point of God and Jesus and all that is faith, right? Is having faith to, listen to him and believe in him even when there's no evidence, right? Like, that's what makes a good Christian or Muslim or fucking, there's no such thing as a good Jew, but if there was, that would be what being a good Jew is. It's just, like, believing in it no matter what. But Freud, when he was like I think he was a graduate student, I don't remember, but he was, like, doing this research for someone. Like, someone was, like, making him do research for him, and they gave him, like, a barrel of eels, right? Just, like, a barrel full of dead eels. And he was like, separate the males from the females in this, like, barrel of eels, right? Like, look for the genitals and then separate them. But the thing about eels is, and they discovered this later on, is that they're kind of, I guess, maybe hermaphroditic. I don't know how it works, but, like, they develop, like, their reproductive organs during the mating season, right? Like, they get, I don't know how it fucking works. They get, like, a dick or, like, a pussy during mating season. That would be sick, dude. If, like, every like few years you just, like, switched up real quick, you were like, fuck, I got tits now. Like, if you just woke up with tits one day and, like, a fire ass pussy, that would fucking rule hard as hell. Just every few years. And that, I wonder if, like, every few years when you, like, turn from a dude to a chick, if you would, like one time you'd wake up hotter, that would some people have, like, a high ego or, like, a big ego because they're, like, hot as shit. I wonder if that would bring a few people down a peg, because it's like, maybe, like, one time you turn hot, one time you're a little bit ugly, it all evens out. You just, levels the playing field a little bit. One time you're hot, one time you're ugly. It's just the way it is. But that would rule, to just wake up with tits one day, just like, yo, dude. But then you wouldn't enjoy them as much, especially if, like, you're straight. Like, if you're a lesbian dude, that would rule to just, wake up. Like, if you're a straight dude to just wake up with tits and a pussy, just be like, yo, I gotta fuck myself now. Or go get fucked. I don't know, but it just would rule to have tits. Maybe I'm trans. I don't know. This could be the episode I realize that maybe I'm trans. But it would rule hard as fuck to wake up with titties one day. But anyway, so they the guy gave Freud all these eels and was like, separate them by gender. And so I guess this guy didn't know any fucking thing about eels either. He probably just thought Freud was the most annoying person on earth. Like, I wonder if this is before Freud came up with the theory about like fucking your mom and like eating your dad's ass or whatever, however it goes. Eating your cousin's pussy. I don't know how it fucking goes. But I wonder if this was before or after that. Because if it was like after that, like after he came up with that theory, and he was just like, dude, this guy won't stop talking to me about fucking his mom. I'm just gonna drive him insane by making him dissect. I know nothing about eels. Like, this isn't an eel research facility. I'm just gonna make him dissect all these fucking eels so he stops talking to me about fucking his mom. But I do think this happened before, because, and it must have been the thing that like drove him like thinking about fucking his mom so much, right? Because he had to like separate all these eels by gender, but there was no way to do that. And so he was just like cutting open eels for like, I mean, months straight. There was probably like thousands of eels that he was like trying to dissect and cut open and separate by gender, just going crazy, being like, where the fuck is this eel dick at? There's no eel dick. There's no eel pussy. There's nothing. There's nothing here. What the fuck am I supposed to do? Like, that's probably the thing that drove him to be like, yeah, my mom's got a good rack on her. Like, that would do it. That would do it. Just cutting open eels all day, just being like, what the fuck is going on in here? He should have gone like the U.S. veteran route. He should have just got like addicted to heroin, or I guess at that point like opium or something chill like that. He should have just done that, because and that also just shows how like weak this guy's mind was. That like cutting open a few fucking 100 eels makes you want to fuck your mom. You know what I mean? Like, dudes go to war and see like children get blown into a million pieces. Like, they see their best friends get fucking vaporized by bullets, and they don't come back being like, yo, I gotta eat my dad's ass. I have to I don't know what it is. There's some psychological thing behind it, but I have to do it. Like, he didn't even go to war. He just cut open a bunch of eels and was like, I gotta fuck someone I'm related to. Like, that was his theory he came up with after dissecting a few eels. But a lot of people talk about war all the time, and I am interested in war. It's obviously an interesting topic. It's like the main thing humans have done the entire time we're here. Like, everything we've ever invented was because of war, right? Like, you could say it's because of food and fucking, or like that's like the basics, but like the thing about being a human, like the human side of it, right? Like the thing that makes us unique from animals, because all animals, all they do is think about food and fucking, and so that's part of it for sure. But like, the human side of war is very interesting. But yeah, I've been getting into war a lot. That's why I watched that video about Mao. Might do an episode about Mao. I don't know. Could become a communist. Could be the move. But, and the thing about communism that's like so funny to me is like, it's obviously not the system that's going to work, right? Any system developed this late in the game plan, you know, like we're already almost gone, dude. Like, let's call a spade a spade. I know for like the past 2,000 years or whatever, people, probably even before that, people have like been predicting that humanity is going to go out. I think they're right this time. I think maybe we got like 200, 300 years left, so we're at the end of the party. You know what I mean? The party's dying down. The lights are starting to come on. Everyone's like seeing each other. They're like, yo, that was the fucking chick that was that chick is ugly as fuck, but you're still kind of drunk, so you're like, maybe, I don't know. We might have a little bit of fun, but that's where we're at in the party. But like communism, like you can point back to like who invented communism, right? You can be like, or I don't know if you can. Like, people say Marx invented it. I don't know. I feel like that's bullshit. Like, that guy didn't, he barely wrote about communism. Like, obviously I haven't read Das Kapital or whatever, but like everything I've read about it is him just like talking about manufacturing. Like, that's all it is. He's talking about like beef packing facilities and shit like that. And so, but capitalism, no one points back to like one single guy whose like idea was to just do capitalism, right? And so I feel like that's why it's like it's the system that's just going to work well. Like, even if it's not better in any way, shape, or form, it fits more to like the human spirit of just like, you know what I mean? Wanting to be better than everyone else and just dominating and having all the shit. Like, that's what capitalism is more about. And that's more what the human spirit is about, right? I don't know, unless you're a Christian. I don't even know what Christians believe about the human spirit, dude. I never really understood that, like the human spirit. Like, they're like mind, body, and spirit, and I'm like, which one's the spirit again? Because people talk about like consciousness versus your mind or whatever. I don't really fucking get that. I don't even know if consciousness is part of your mind. Like, and that's why I need to. That's why when I smoke weed, I need to distract myself. Because when I smoke weed, like that's what I think about. I'm like, what the fuck is it? What's thinking? What is thinking? That just like, and that makes me understand why weed was illegal for so long. Like was illegal not because people thought it was harmful or whatever, but just because people would smoke weed and just say the dumbest, most annoying things you've ever heard. Like at least if someone gets like blackout drunk, they'll be like, like you can't understand them, right? Like you can't annoy someone if like you can't be annoying if you can't talk. And so maybe that's why they banned weed for so long. It's just like, dude, I can't fucking listen to you talk up talk about the human spirit anymore, dude. Every time you take a fucking edible, you think you're having a heart attack, and I have to drive you to the ER. What the fuck are we doing here, dude? I think that's why weed was illegal. It was just people are like, can you guys shut the fuck up? Like that's what it was, and that's the ultimate sin, right? Is being annoying. People think it's like being evil or like being hateful or wanting to destroy the world or whatever. And it's like, no, that's not the greatest sin, or at least socially, it's not the greatest sin. Like socially, the greatest sin is being annoying. That's ultimately that's what it all boils down to. Like take, for example, Hitler. Hitler, like most people agree, most evil dude of all time. I don't know. He's definitely up there though. I'd say probably top 5 at least, right? Like I think that's like the general consensus, just at least top 5 evil all time that we know of. And the thing about Hitler is, people call Hitler evil. They call him an incredibly hateful person. They call him a psycho. They call him a moron. But you know what? I've never heard Hitler be called annoying, right? I've never heard anyone be like, Hitler, that guy could not shut the fuck up. That guy was always saying some stupid shit. And that's the thing a lot of people need to realize, right? Is that especially like at your job or really your job is the main thing, right? Like, because in college you can just be annoying and get good grades and be fine, but like at your job, you don't need to be good at it. You don't need to understand it better than anyone else. You don't need to work harder than everyone else. You just need to be not annoying. Like that's the thing. Like Hitler, the reason Hitler came into power is because everyone else in the Weimar Republic, like all these super like liberal progressive people, were just so fucking annoying that they were just like, yeah, this Hitler guy, he screams a lot. He's talking about the Jews. I don't fucking know anything. I've never met one before, but like he's significantly less annoying than everyone else. So let's just go with him, right? I can't. Every time our president talks, he talks about fucking like books or whatever. He doesn't shut the fuck up about books. Like Hitler's big thing was like the beer hall. Right, he like came into a beer hall and like took it over. He had a fucking rager, and everyone was like, "Yo, this guy's the fucking man." Right, that's all Hitler had to do, was just be like, "Shut the fuck up, you gay nerds. We're gonna burn all your books and throw a fucking rager at this beer hall." And that's how he took over. He took over by being less annoying than everyone else, and that's an important lesson, Without Hitler, a lot of people wouldn't learn that lesson, and they still don't learn that lesson. And that's also true of like every other main revolution. Like people didn't hate the British because they thought they were being oppressed or whatever. It was just like so annoying being oppressed, right? It was like I gotta like do calculations for taxes every time I go and buy a fucking bag of tea or whiskey or paper or whatever. It's like fuck off, dude. I'm just gonna have this 6'2" redhead come in here and stab all you guys to death with bayonets. Shut the fuck up. I'm just done with it. I can't handle it anymore. You're so fucking annoying. And that's what it is, right? It's just being like, shut the fuck up. Like that's the ultimate thing that drives all these revolutions, that drives all these wars, that drives like human innovation, ideology, is just some guy who was like the status quo, right? Like he was the guy that was already in power, became so fucking annoying that everyone else was like, yeah, we gotta change this up, right? Like I'm fine with being a slave. Like no matter what, I'm gonna be a slave. Like I'm fine with that. I'll fucking do that shit. Whatever, fucking, pick rice all day, pick wheat all day, pick cotton all day. I'll do that, dude. I'll fucking climb a tree 1,000 foot tall and like bang coconuts down with a baseball bat. Like I'll do that. I'll fucking die though before I deal with an annoying person, before I deal with an annoying leader. So that's what it is. So if you're planning on a revolution, and this is why like the communist revolution or like the Antifa people are all like these people that are always saying like the revolution will be televised, like these American communists. And it's like, no, it's not. The reason it's not going to be televised, even if you are semi-successful in it, is because you're so fucking annoying that no one's going to flip to that channel and be like, yo, what are the communists up to? It's like, no, I don't want to hear someone fucking lecture me about bathrooms or whatever. Can you please be quiet? Can you stop talking about that? And that's why Trump won. He was just less annoying than Kamala. And that's why you do need a dude in there. Like everyone Everyone always talks about how like sexist America is or whatever, and it's like, no, I just think America, like every other country, hates annoying people, and let's call a spade a spade. A postmenopausal woman, or like postmenopausal, they're chill as fuck. Like a postmenopausal woman doesn't give a fuck about anything. That's basically a dude at that point. That's like a high level like lesbian with like a crew cut is like what a postmenopausal woman is. It's like the best kind of woman on earth, like or at least the most tolerable kind of woman on earth. But like a during menopause woman just like experiencing like hormone swings every day, basically like a teenage boy. Like who's the fuck is more annoying than a teenage boy? Like that's what a menopausal woman is. But I don't know. I don't know. I've said this before. I know what being annoying is just like the ultimate sin. There's nothing worse than that. There's nothing worse than being annoying. And I do see the irony in the fact that I've been talking about that for 10 minutes straight, just rambling on about that for 10 minutes straight. I do see the irony in it. I do see that that's me right now. But like it's a good thing I don't plan on, being Hitler. Like I guess it's a good thing I don't want to start any revolutions anytime soon. And also revolutions, dude, the logistics of it all. Like when I have to like turn in like two separate, or when I have to like turn like a JPEG into a PDF to like turn it in as an assignment, like that's even too much for me. Like I'm like fucking bureaucracy is destroying this country, I'm like fucking, this is Kafka-esque, dude. This is exactly what Kafka was warning us about when he wrote The Trial or whatever, was this type of annoying, everlasting, omnipresent bureaucracy. This is what he was warning us about. While I like click one button to turn a JPEG into a PDF. That's it, So I'm not planning on starting any revolutions anytime soon. But if I did start my revolution, I'd come in probably, walk up on stage, hit the Conor McGregor walk. I don't care what anyone says. However many times he's convicted of rape, the Conor McGregor walk is still funny as fuck and cool as fuck. So I'd probably walk up on stage doing that, probably wearing like a chill ass outfit, some Saint Laurent or whatever, some chrome hearts, I'd have Playboy Cardi at my side. He's wearing like one step short of a KKK robe, kind of like almost Kanye'd up, but not really. And I'd walk up on stage and I'd just be like, yeah, I'm not going to talk too much. It's just going to be cool. Like that's what I'd do. I'd assassinate the president. I'd do the Conor McGregor walk up on stage, be shirtless or something like that. Because if you do want to lead a revolution, you got to be hot. You need a hot person somewhere in there. And I don't know who Mao Zedong's was for that, and I don't know who Hitler's was, but Stalin's not. He did have like a certain masculine hotness to him, like especially about in like Russia or whatever, right? Like Russia's like an old society like that, right? Like they respect masculinity a lot, and so he just came up there with just like this masculine, like this worn face. Like we don't want that in America. Like in America, they want like a Timothy Chalamet. They want like a dude who looks French or something like that. That's what they want. They want like a twink or whatever. I don't fucking get it. Allegedly, I don't know if I believe that. Like every chick that's like, oh, Timothy Chalamet is so hot. I'm like, I think you're just saying that because all the other chicks are saying. Like one chick was like, I think that guy's kind of hot, and then just instantly it like blew up. It was like every woman was like, yeah, I think he's hot too. Like he's so hot. Like they were scared of being kicked out of the friend group or whatever for not agreeing about how hot Timothy Chalamet was. But you do need a hot person to lead the revolution, right? Like that's ultimately what you need. Like I don't know if Mao had that. I think Mao's like version of like the hot dude or the hot chick or whatever that was like the face of his revolution was just like people on a poster. And that works for like East Asia because they love like anime porn and like hentai and shit like that. Like they're attracted to cartoon characters, and so he was able to have like a hot chick on a poster, like a hot dude on a poster, and be like, I mean, yeah, that's just going to fucking what happens with communism. It's how communism goes. Hot dudes, hot chiseled jawline, jacked as hell, and nice. Your face small, your eyes big, a nice anime chick on the propaganda poster, and he took over. He dominated. Right, I don't know if Hitler had that. It was like the hot one that Hitler had. Maybe that's why he was so obsessed with the Aryan race. Maybe he didn't like, you need, or maybe not a hot person, but like a hot idea, right? Like blue eyes, blonde hair, like that's a hot idea. Like I feel like a lot of chicks especially, they want to be blondes, and that's probably and that's what they talk about with Mao Zedong too, about like what he tapped into to become like to lead the communist revolution in China, was that he tapped into like the female market, you know what I mean? He saw this completely untapped market. He was like, yo, No one's fucking appealing to these chicks. You know, I'm progressive. Hey, I'm progressive. Abort, whatever you want, we'll fucking do it. He's insanely conservative. China's an insanely conservative country, like socially at least. Like people talk about communism and shit like that, especially like the communists over here, and they're all like super left leaning and like liberal socially, but like communism by its nature has to be like super socially conservative because if you have one person step a toe out of line, like that fucks the whole system up. And so he's like super conservative, but he tapped into like the female market of it, right? He was like, he saw that and he took advantage of it. I think that's what Hitler did too. He's like, all these fucking chicks keep like dyeing their hair blonde. Maybe I tell them if I like kill all the Jews, then they'll be blonde too. They'll just naturally become blonde and have blue eyes and have big tits and be hot. Like that's what Hitler did. That's how he tapped into the female market. And solid game plan from him too. Hey, solid game plans all around. Everyone talks about how evil these dictators are. No one talks about the fucking game plan. You know, it's like Tom Brady. They're all the Tom Bradys of of killing millions of people. It's everyone hates him, but they're good at it. You know, he's studying film. I know he's studying film. I can see it in the way he plays the game, and you know that's why you got to appreciate him. You gotta look at him, gotta appreciate him. Or if you're just like a regular person, you don't have to do that. Like everyone, all these people, or not all these people, but like a lot of people will like read history books or like Marcus Aurelius or whatever and be like, I'm gonna use that in my life. And it's like, no, you're not, because you don't want any of the things that Marcus Aurelius wants, right? Like you don't want to fucking like lead the Roman Empire into like, what is it, Pax Romana? You don't fucking want that. You don't want to do anything like that. You want to sit at the desk and then go home to your fat fucking wife and your annoying kids. So Marcus Aurelius isn't going to fucking help with that. Watch Love Island. Once again, it all leads back to Love Island. Love Island is the ultimate, like, fucking archetype of human nature. If you want to know anything about human nature, just watch Love Island. It unveils everything about it. If you understand, like, why we went to war, why Trump won, or fucking whatever. If you want to understand anything about why humans have done what they did, watch Love Island. Watch a chick from Essex argue with, like, a dude from Melbourne, and that'll unveil everything. That'll pull the curtain back. Just watch it. You don't even have to analyze it. You don't even have to be like, okay, why are they, like, what are they talking about in this argument? Why is she saying this? Why is he saying? You don't even need to do that. Just watch it and you'll be like, oh, I fucking get it now. I understand everything now. You know, it's like people talk about taking ayahuasca or mushrooms and they're like, I understand the world so much better now that I take ayahuasca and mushrooms. I understand. Like, and I do kind of get that a little bit because I've taken mushrooms a couple times, and it's like both times I took them, I was like, I just need to lock in more. But that's also like, I don't know, like that also comes with like the existential panic of taking psychedelics, of being like, holy fuck, my brain is so fucked up, I'm never going to be normal again. If I ever am normal again, I'm going to be so much better. It's like when you're sick and you're like, dude, when I'm fucking not sick anymore, I'm going to be so much fucking better. I'm going to go to the gym every day. I'm going to enjoy food so much more. Like, that's what it is. But like these people that take like mushrooms and ayahuasca, and that could help a little bit. Like if you get like a really strong batch of ayahuasca and you just like become retarded, like that could help you in your job. But you're not gonna talk to fucking Quetzalcoatl or whatever, be like, and fucking sell more cars or fucking be, know how to use Excel better, work harder, or anything like that. The only way it'll help you is if you become so retarded like that the world around you is just a dull, like throbbing, just like all the time. Like if you become so retarded that everyone that talks to you sounds like the adults in fucking Charlie Brown, like the womp womp womp, like that, like that's gonna help you, but nothing else about it is gonna help you. You know, the mechanical elves aren't gonna come out and give you the secrets of Excel, right? Like they're not gonna do that. They're not gonna be like, if you put the lumber on the higher rack at Lowe's where you work, then everything will be. That's not gonna happen. It's just not the way it's gonna work. You know, it's not gonna fucking help you scam people better when it comes to crypto. Or it might, right? Like if you can get an insight into retardation, like if I had my own crypto company, right? If I started my own cryptocurrency and I was like trying to get people to buy it, I'd hire a dude with Down syndrome, because people think people with Down syndrome are like dumber than everyone else. They're not dumber. Like they're just, it's like the mask has been taken off, right? Like that's all it is. They're not pretending to be smart, and they don't care about it either. All they care about is John Cena and tits. And they're right about that. They're 100% correct. That's all that matters. Nothing else about it matters. You know, it's just John Cena, tits, fucking Doritos, and the occasional, Mountain Dew. You can't give them the full sugar Mountain Dew, right? You got to give them the diet Mountain Dew. But like, if I had my own cryptocurrency, I'd just hire a bunch of retarded dudes and be like, "What do you think the sickest name is?" I'd have like a focus group. I'd be like, "All right, we got pizza in a John Cena cardboard cutout. Get down here on Friday. We're gonna have a focus group." And I'd ask them like what the best name is, what the best marketing strat is, and I'd become the richest person on the planet. I'd become so insanely rich. And I'm not acting like I'm like so much smarter. Like I have a deeper insight into the world. I know, all right. I know I'm just as dumb as everyone else, but like at least I am unlocking the secrets of the Down syndrome. I'm looking at the syndrome, being like, what do these guys think? And I'm unlocking their secrets. It is cultural appropriation, but look, you just got to take it where you can get it. All right, I do know I'm culturally appropriating the Downs right now, and I do apologize to them. I would like to meet with their leader, talk to him a little bit about that, be like, hey, I'm sorry I wore an Indian headdress and did face paint at a Chiefs game. My bad. You know? But I think we're going to get into our first news topic of the day. I don't know where we're going with this one. I have 4 different ones. But I think I'm going to start with this one, which is woman posed as her dead mother for 25 years in Social Security scam, Minnesota prosecutors say. Mavius Redmond. Mavius is a solid fucking name. A lot of people don't have original names anymore. Or if they do have original names, it's like DeQuandarius the Eighth, right? Or like Oakley, but it's spelled super weird. Like those are the unique names nowadays. Or it's like Lake Shore, like some shit like that. Mavius is a good one, though. I like that one. But Mavius Redmond, over 25 years, stole $360,000 in Social Security. And this is from, like, her mom died, and she just kept collecting the Social Security. And everyone's like, oh, she stole so much money from the taxpayers. She destroyed the taxpayers. Let's do the fucking math on this, right? How much is $360,000 divided by 25 years? Pull up a fucking calculator. No, I don't want a derivative calculator. I want a fucking regular old-fashioned calculator. But 360,000. Let's do the math on this. It's not a lot. It's what? A little bit more than. Yeah, it's $14,400 every year. I don't care how much fucking money she stole. If a woman that can't work, a woman that has nothing, a chick that fucking she worked her whole life and then her company fired her and didn't give her any severance, is surviving on $14,400 a fucking year for the last 10 years of her life. Like, what are we talking about here? She stole all this money from the taxpayers. There's 100,000 people in any given fucking city, like the employment for their city, or the employment for the government of their city, that shouldn't have a job, right? Like, their jobs are completely useless. She stole $14,400 a year from the taxpayers over 25. That's nothing. She stole nothing. That's not noticeable. We're talking about like 100,000 people paid her a penny a year for fucking 14. I don't get it, right? Like, people are focusing on the wrong thing when it comes to this. Yeah, she stole the money. Who gives a shit? How the fuck do you expect a person to survive on $14,400? What are we doing here, guys? Like, what is that's nothing. $14,400 a year. Do you think she lives in a fucking dorm? What are we doing here, guys? That's the thing I want to focus on here. And also, good for her. She got an extra 14 grand. That's not that much. It's not that much money that she stole. It's just not. Like, an extra 14 grand a year is like she was able to retire a year earlier than everyone else. And then she had to go back to work 2 years later because fucking you can't retire in this country anymore. That's all this is. I don't get what the big deal is. But that is a solid scam. 54 years old. Oh, so she was doing it since she was young, since she was 29 years old. Hopefully she invested the money. But anyone that's running a Social Security scam, that person's not spending money well. Like risking like federal prison for 25 years for an extra 10 grand a year. Like, that's not the type of person that's like a master investor or whatever. That's not a person that's like watching the NASDAQ ticker being like, what should I invest in this week? Ooh, there's a biodynamics company out of Delaware that I think. No, she bought an extra boat. That's all she did. This is enough money to buy like one boat and like the upkeep for it for 25 years. That's all she did. She like bought her husband a bass boat. Her husband was like, fucking listen here, bitch. All right, if you don't buy me a new fucking walleye boat, I'm turning you in. That's This is a boat. She stole a boat from the taxpayers over the course of 25. She stole like a doctor's salary over the course of 25. It's not that big of a deal. That's no money at all. She stole nothing from anyone. That is so fucking funny. $360,000 over the course of 25, and this was like on the first page of like the local, like the Minnesota State News or whatever. She scammed Social Security for literal decades. My office will continue to aggressively pursue the federal programs fraud that plagues Minnesota. Redmond pleaded guilty to one count of theft of government funds. She will be sentenced at a later date. What do you think this lady is going to get? Do you think she's a little bit relieved though? Because like I said, it's not that much money. So it's like, I feel like the stress maybe outweighs it a little bit, right? Like when people are like, I'm not going to go to college. I'm just going to be a construction worker and I'll make more money than everyone else. And it's like, yeah, and your body will fall apart and you won't be able to think for the rest. Like that's what it's going to be. Yeah, you'll make $120,000 a year, which, you know, if that, you'll make $120,000 a year, if that, and your body will be destroyed by the time you're 50. And you won't have a thought in your mind that entire time. Now that I'm saying it out loud, that's not a bad deal. That's not a bad deal, because most of our bodies, most of us, by the time we're 50, with like all the microplastics and like the jet fuel in the water, by the time we get to 50 years old, we're going to be like covered in tumors like an old fucking dog. We're going to be all lumped the fuck up. So none of our bodies are going to be working. And not being able to form a thought, like that's not that big of a deal. You don't really need to do that anyway, so... Maybe I talked a little bit of shit there, but maybe that's a good game plan. But when this lady gets to prison, I think she'll have fun. This is a person that's gonna have fun in prison, right? Like someone that scams Social Security, they don't give a fuck about prison. They're gonna be in there running that shit. She already knows how to scam the government. She already knows the way this fucking thing operates. You think she's gonna have a tough time in prison? She's gonna be the boss bitch, dude. She's gonna be eating everyone's pussy. She's gonna have a dildo made out of Jolly Ranchers fucking all these chicks, dude. She's gonna be running that shit. So fucking Marvius Redmond, if you're listening to this, and I know that you are, good for you, all right? You're the last true American left in this country. You're the last patriot left in this country, all right? And I salute you. I salute your service to this country. I salute your service to capitalism as a whole, and I thank you. Marvius Redmond. Everyone give that woman a round of applause. That's some real shit right there. That's some good. No one's doing it like that anymore. Everyone's like scamming, like the big scams now are like people scamming other like peasants. It's just peasants scamming other peasants. Like that's what it is right now. Marvius Redmond took this into her own fucking hands and said, "No, I'm gonna scam the government." Yeah, my mom might have died. Her fucking heart exploded because she ate nothing but Doritos and fucking microwave meals for the past 20 years, and I'm gonna take advantage of it. This country killed her, and now she'll fucking, you know. And I'm looking at this lady. I looked up Marvius Redmond on Google Images. This is a black chick. There is also a white chick. But I think, or Mavius Redmond, sorry, not Marvius. Marvius is a boy's name. Okay, so I apologize, Miss Redmond. But yeah, no, this lady's the goat. I'm looking at her picture on Facebook right now. She's got that look to her. She's got like a half smile going on. She's like, yeah, I'm scamming these motherfuckers. $14,000 a year. You ever heard of that? You ever heard of $14,000 a year? Shit. You ever heard of lobster and steak? I can't even afford that, but like I can afford like shrimp and like fucking steak-um sometimes. So shout out fucking Mavius, dude. And the goat, you know. You got to appreciate a scam like that. Like there's not a lot of people. Like the only people that have like the capacity to scam the government anymore are like these giant multinational like billion-dollar corporations. And it's like, you're already scamming like the entire populace. You got to scam the government too now. So I applaud Mavius Redmond for doing what we couldn't do. That woman should be given a job at fucking I don't know where. She should be given a job at Amazon. Not fucking, she should be a high-paid executive at Amazon, not a fucking prisoner. But she's going to have a fun time in prison, I can tell. You know, she's got that dog in her. She's going to be fucking, you know, people are going to be racking up noodle debt against her, and she's going to be breaking some kneecaps, and she's going to have a fun time in there. She's going to be eating pussy and breaking knees. Breaking a few hearts, too, because she's probably fire at eating pussy. So shout out Mavius. All right. Our next one, I don't even know why I picked this one, but this is from the BP website. So BP is, if you don't know, it's British Petroleum, right? And this is like some Cecil Rhodes. Like if you don't know who Cecil Rhodes is either, I'm just like explaining layers on layers about like this article, about this meaningless article that I'm going to stumble over reading. But anyway, Cecil Rhodes was like the ultimate capitalist. He was like the guy that like went in and made all the colonies in like, I think specifically Southern Africa, like Zimbabwe, Botswana, Malawi, Zambia, and maybe not South Africa. He might have fought in South Africa a little bit, but he's like the one that made all like those colonies in Southern Africa, like all those mining colonies. So that's what he did, and I'm pretty sure that's like what British Petroleum is, right? Like that's like a Standard Oil type of name, or like Dole, or one of like those companies that you're like, how does this still exist? Like I feel like after slavery ended, this company maybe should have been disbanded. I think it's one of those companies that it's like these people have committed worse war crimes than the majority of countries on this earth. How do they still exist? But BP announces oil discovery in the Gulf of America. And people argue about that shit. They're like, no, it's the Gulf of Mexico, not the Gulf of America. It's like it doesn't matter. It's the name of a body of water. Your son is overdosing in the bathroom. Why do you care about what the fucking body of water, about what a muddy body of water is? Why do you care what it's called? I have swam in the Gulf of America once, saw some dolphins, caught a horseshoe crab, caught a hermit crab out there with my dad and my sister. It was a fucking fun time. I saw the dolphins and I was like, yo, that's sick. And the water, it's just like a shitty fucking lake. It's not deep at all. Or I'm sure like some places out there it's deep, but like you could fucking walk like 2 miles out. It's like you're not even knee deep out there. But they discovered some oil in the Gulf of America. And yeah, they discovered some oil out there, and people are going to be like, oh, there's going to be another oil spill or whatever. It's like, guys, what are we doing here at this point? But you're mad about an oil spill in 4,092 feet of water. All right, that's pretty deep. The well was drilled to a total depth of 23,838 feet. The Far South co-owners are BP, which is the operator, and Chevron. Oh, so they like team up to like destroy the environment. They're like, dude, I don't know how many fucking rivers I can poison. Chevron, I need your help. BP, get in there, dude. We need to put Teflon in this river in West Virginia, dude. I need your guys. The DuPonts can't do it all by themselves, For a while there, it was just the DuPonts pouring fucking Simpsons radioactive barrels of waste into fucking rivers in Ohio. And then BP stepped in and said, I'll show you how it's fucking done, dude. I can get more toxic waste in the fucking Gulf of Mexico in a fucking week than you'll be able to get in your entire life, all right? The big dogs are here. Let the big dogs step in. But how much oil are we talking about? How many barrels of oil? Both the initial well and a subsequent sidetrack encountered oil in high-quality Miocene reserves. So the Miocene, I believe, is an epoch, and it's like a period of time, basically. Yeah. So the Miocene epoch from 23.03 million to 5.3 million years ago, and that's pretty sick that they can, like, say what you want about like them digging for oil and like killing all these ducks or whatever, but like it's pretty sick that they can tell like just when the oil is from. But Andy Krieger, who's the senior vice president, Gulf of America and Canada, said this far south discovery demonstrates that the Gulf of America remains an area of incredible growth and opportunity for BP. Our Gulf of America business is central to BP's strategy. We are focused on delivering more affordable and reliable energy from this region, building our capacity to over 400,000 barrels of equivalent per day by the end of the decade. God damn. That's a lot of fucking oil, dude. But yeah, they're digging for oil out there. And the thing about all these oil spills that I always found so funny is that I'm sure like BP or like Standard Oil or one of like these giant like chemical corporations also owns Dawn, and so they're like, we clean oil off ducks. It's like they do nothing else. They just clean oil off ducks. That's all. And I don't even know if ducks live in salt water. Like, is there salt water? I'm sure there is like some saltwater ducks, but there's certainly none in the Gulf of Mexico. It's just like, yeah, we spilled 800 million barrels of oil out here. We're just gonna dump a bunch of dish soap in there, and that's gonna fix it. They do nothing to clean up the oil. They're just like, it came from the fucking ground, dude. This is natural. This is like basically a spring water. All right, what do you guys? This is like a water of spring. This is like Fiji water coming out of the ground right here. What are you guys mad about? It came from the fucking earth, dude. What do you want? You want us to fix everything? You want us to destroy everything that comes from the earth that's dangerous? Huh? Do you want us to do that? Like that's their game plan, and then just dump barrels of Dawn dish soap into the ocean. Yeah, the ocean, dude. But yeah. So I guess I don't know how the fuck this works. Maybe like Chevron owns the rights to like the land, but including recent successes in Trinidad, Egypt, and the Gulf of America. Damn. So they're fucking, hey, everyone that's like, solar technology or nuclear, like wind powered, is the future. These guys seem like, no, it's not. Like everyone's like, one day we're gonna run out of oil or coal. I say coal. I don't know. That's one of those words. Coal. Coal. I don't know how to pronounce like how like proper people, but coal. That's how I say it. But I mean, all these people that are like, one day the oil's gonna run out. The oil wells are gonna run dry. It's looking like, no, dude. We've been doing this shit for hundreds of years and it still hasn't run dry. So I'm thinking we're gonna be okay. whatever the fucking case is, but they just seem to keep discovering oil. I don't know how much more they're gonna discover. I don't know how much is like physically possible for there to be, but I mean, no, you're not gonna get your nuclear energy anytime soon. It's gonna be all oil all the time until the day we die. And then this is another very funny article that I found, which is lawyers say El Salvador blocks access to detained Venezuelans. Which, first of all, is what do you expect, right? Like that's my first question coming out of here. Did you think El Salvador was like this bastion of democracy? El Salvador is like, it's the name of it. It's like a dictator that named the country after himself. I don't know what El Salvador means, but that's what it sounds like to me. It sounds like fucking, that guy in Turkmenistan or whatever that like named the months after himself. That's what El Salvador as a country seems like to me. So I don't know what you were thinking to begin. You thought they were like nice to people. First of all, that was barely a country for years until like a dictator came in and implemented Bitcoin and now everything's fine somehow. I don't know how that works, but I guess it did. Some 35-year-old like psychopath who used to run a biometrics company in Southern California came in and was like, we're going to use Bitcoin now and we're going to put everyone in a big giant prison and the prison is going to be very big. It's going to have many rooms in it. Like that's what he came in and he did. Just like a fucking psychopath that used to run some company that does nothing in San Francisco. There's just like we're a technology company. It's like, oh, what kind of technology do you do? Technology. Like that's what he used to do. Just a 35, just like JD Vance. Like if JD Vance was like actually not retarded, like people will be like, JD Vance is insane. Look at his eyes. He has the eyes of like a psychopath or a rapist or whatever. And it's like, no, he has the eyes of a retard. He has the eyes of a person who, the fact that he's allowed out of his house, the fact that he doesn't have a job bagging groceries at, whatever fucking shitty local grocery chain, the fact that he's not doing that is a miracle. That's the eyes that JD Vance has. He doesn't have the eyes of like a cold-blooded killer or whatever. Have you seen Ted Bundy? Ted Bundy has like cold, dead eyes. JD Vance, his eyes are dead, but they're not cold. They're like warm, dead eyes. They're like the eyes of a man with a few extra chromosomes, and I like that. I enjoy that about him. But that's what this guy kind of is, like the president of El Salvador, president, quote unquote. But lawyers challenging the incarceration in El Salvador of more than 200 Venezuelans deported by the U.S. said the Salvadorian government is denying the prisoners access to attorneys and contact with the outside world. Which, first of all, yeah, that's what you get when you don't have a constitution. They don't have the Constitution. I don't know if you guys know how governments work, how countries work, but yeah, no, America, the Constitution doesn't apply to every country on Earth. I know it seems like it does because we pick and choose which countries it does apply to. Like Afghanistan, the fucking Constitution applies there. Iraq, the Constitution applies there. Taiwan, especially the Constitution applies there. Israel, the Constitution applies there. El Salvador, it doesn't. Right? We've been doing this since fucking the end of the Second World War. We've been doing this. We've been picking and choosing which countries deserve certain freedoms and which countries don't. Is this new to you? Are you just now realizing this? Right? We've had like 30, 20-year wars over the course of 100 years somehow, right? We've been fighting 20-year wars simultaneously to try to implement the Constitution in other countries while genocides were happening in others. I don't know what you expect at this point. But under an agreement with the Salvadorian government, President Donald Trump's administration in March sent 238 Venezuelans to its terrorism confinement center, the largest prison in Latin America, as part of a crackdown on immigration. That doesn't that doesn't work out in my mind, right? I think these guys might be terrorists. I think that maybe that's why they don't get to call their lawyer and be like, yo, can I snitch on someone? Can I get a plea deal out of this? I think that's why. I think these people are drug traffickers who came to America to traffic drugs and people probably as well, and guns and whatever else they can get their hands on. And they got caught, and now they're in a terrorism center because they're terrorists. They're part of a cartel. They're part of a giant criminal organization that skins people alive. And so maybe that makes them terrorists. I think maybe that's what we're getting at here. Maybe that's what the people who wrote this article are missing. The fact that maybe these people are legitimate terrorists. But law firm Grupo Ortega, which represents at least 30 Venezuelan deportees, have received no response to any of these petitions, said Jamie Ortega. And here's the thing. Like, people argue like all day back and forth about like immigration versus whatever, right? Like whether we should who we should allow, who we shouldn't allow, the rights of illegal immigrants, all that shit like that. But it's like and this goes to both sides, right? Because it's like, why are you deporting Venezuelans to El Salvador? You should be deporting them to fucking Venezuela, where they came from illegally. And it's just, yeah, these people broke the law and then they went to prison. I don't see what the big deal is here. These people, they're going to be tortured alive in an El Salvadorian prison. Why can't you just get over that and buy a Stanley Cup from Target, right? Like, why can't you just ignore the fact that these guys are going to be tortured to death in a Venezuelan prison? The fact that these guys are going to be raped to death by guards in their nightsticks. Why can't you just get over that and fucking just go to Target and buy some string lights for your bedroom, all right? It's not that big of a deal. But no, it is funny that people are like, these guys went to a terrorism, like thousands of people are being deported every day, right? It's just what Trump was going to do when he got into office. He's not deporting that many people. Like, if you look at the numbers, he's not deporting like even 0.25% of like the illegal immigrants in the country or some bullshit like that. But like, that's what he said he was going to do. He said he was going to deport 1,000 people a day or whatever the fuck. And he's been doing it. He's been deporting thousands of people a day. And he hasn't been sending all of them to this terrorism containment center. So maybe let's focus on some other things that aren't, defending terrorists, right? Like maybe let's see past that a little bit. And people do this all the fucking time. I find this shocking. I find this shocking, the fact that people like will do this, right? Like they'll focus on like the least important part of an issue, right? Like if you believe that illegal immigrants are people and that they should be able to stay here, or that they should have like, that they should be given the same due process or whatever as American people, you should be focusing on like the housemaids and like the hospice nurses and like these legitimately good people. Like, say what you want about illegal immigrants or whatever, and this is a brave stand I'm taking here. Some of them are good people. Some of the millions of people who cross our border who have crossed our border for the past 4 years or whatever it is, some of them are good people, right? I know that's controversial, especially because they're brown, but I think some of them might be good people. Focus on those people. Focus on the people who like were living in shit poverty for their entire lives, and then by some miracle ended up in this country and became hardworking, members that contributed to society. No, instead you're focusing on people who are being put in terrorist containment centers because they're criminals. It's fucking shocking when people do that, right? It's like the same with a lot of like the police brutality shit. Like the left is like they're really good at it. Somehow every instance of like something negative happening in our society, they choose to highlight like the part of it that's like no one cares about, right? Like no one cares that terrorists are being put in terrorist containment centers. And like the police brutality thing is like they focused on a lot of people who were criminals, right? Like there's so many people every day, especially black people every day, that are dealing with bullshit from the fucking cops, right? And you're like, no, I'm gonna focus on this other guy. Yeah, this guy that was like doing the worst things imaginable. Yeah, the guy that robbed the preschool. I think I'm gonna defend him in this situation. I think he's right. It's shocking, and that's why the left hasn't. They won with Joe Biden, but did they really? Did they really win with Joe Biden? No, I don't think they did. I don't think they won, especially in the way they wanted to, right? Like, I don't think many Democrats, like, I don't know if anyone remembers, like, the 2020 election. Not a lot of them were going for Joe Biden in the beginning. A lot of people were like Kamala, Pete Buttigieg, Bernie Sanders, people like that. Even the guy they got elected, they didn't want him to get elected, right? Like, they didn't want Joe Biden to be president. Say what you want about the Republicans. You can fucking hate them. They're the most evil people on earth. But they got the person they wanted elected, right? Like, they wanted Donald Trump back. And even in fucking 2016, they wanted Donald Trump, and they got him elected. And the Democrats just don't have an ability to do that because they focus on the dumbest things about every single issue. And the same is true of the Republicans to an extent. Like, they're focused on, like, like the whole trans thing. They're focused on like second grade basketball, or it's like, why are you focusing on that? Why are you focusing on that when it comes to the trans thing? Maybe you should focus on the bigger issue here, which is kids spending literally every second of their lives indoors and on the internet. Maybe, and that is fucking their brains up and making them think they're women or men or whatever. But no, instead you're focusing on third grade basketball, right? Third grade water polo, literally something no one on earth gives a fuck about. Right? Like, if you actually care that deeply about, like, high school women's basketball, you are a pedophile. Like, I know that's the joke that, like, the leftist makes, where it's like, why do you care so much about high school girls? And it's like, obviously they're being fucking idiots. But it also is very stupid to focus on that aspect of it. Being like, yeah, this bowler, this female bowler came in and she, like, I saw something on Twitter the other day that was like, the pool championship, like the game pool, like the hitting balls with sticks, which is, there's multiple sports like that, but like the, pool, everyone knows pool, like the championship, the female championship for that in England was between two women, and like the anti-trans people went fucking insane about it. They were like, can you believe this? It's between two women. What kind of fucking joke world do we live in? And it's like, that's what you're choosing to focus on, not like these young men and women who are mutilating their bodies irreversibly. Like, what are we doing here, guys? This is what you choose to focus on. You're choosing to like make them into demons, which they aren't. Like, people are like, trans people, they're all pedophiles, they're all demons, they're fucking insane. It's like, no, they're not. They're retarded. There is something wrong with them mentally, right? Or that's what they believe, right? Like, they believe there's something wrong with them mentally. If you look at it, right, if you look at it from their point of view, it's not that they're fucking psychopaths, or they're just retarded. And you're choosing to focus on the stupid or the dumbest fucking part of it. It makes no sense to me. I don't know why people do that. I guess they do it because it's fun. It really is fun to argue about, like, because the thing about an argument about a fucking fourth grade water polo team where like one of them's a guy, the fun thing about that type of argument is that argument's going to go on forever because it means nothing. Right? Like, the argument means nothing, and so no one's going to do anything serious about it. No one's going to fucking, like, bomb a high school or whatever because of a third grade water polo game. Like, no one's going to do that. So no one's going to do anything serious about it, and no one's also going to give up their stance on it either because it doesn't fucking matter, right? It's not that deep. It's not like it's going to change your life dramatically if you're like, yeah, I never thought about third grade water polo like that. Like, it's not going to... So that type of argument can just go on forever, and so it's like the most fun type of argument. You can just fucking talk about it forever. It's very fun to do. And then our final article, which I don't even know if I'm going to do this one. Yeah, I think I'm not going to do it. So, yeah, I guess it's the end of this episode. I'll see you guys. I hope you guys have fun arguing about trans third graders in water polo. Sounds like a fun time to me. It is a very fun time to do that. If you're ever bored, just hop on Twitter and just look up third grade trans water polo, get in an argument for 8 hours. Boom, day's gone. You can go to sleep. But hope you have a good day, good year, good life. I'll see you guys on Thursday. I don't know what I'm going to do for the mini episode yet, but I'll see you guys then. Peace out.